is easy to get conditioned, but it is not. It is very hard to live life with outside motivation, because this is what human behavior is all about. We only live life aligned with our unique values. Look at the areas where you get the best results, because we get the best results in the things we value the most. Think deeply and ask yourself why. For example, lipstick, why? For example, I would say my phone, and probably my older daughter, my younger daughter would also say phone. If I build a business around what I value the most, if I build or transform my business around where I am most disciplined and focused, it's a no-brainer that I'll be successful. So the question is, how do I build a business around those 3-4 values? So this method will be helping you to live congruently with your unique values and also deeply understand your mission and purpose. Like I said before, when you look at human behavior, we actually are all inspired from within. And we cannot, there is a fact that we cannot force ourselves to do things. You can force yourself to do things for a matter of time, but you can't force yourself to do things for longer periods. So what I'm saying here is, we can force ourselves to do things with a conditioned mind, but if that thing we are doing, if that's not aligned with our values, because we are not inspired to do that from within, we don't usually continue doing it. For example, I'll give you an example. For example, you get, and this happens for most people. For example, you watch an influencer who is a wellness influencer, and she is doing exercise an hour every day, which you are not, and then you get conditioned, and you say, I'm going to do that. I must, I have to, I ought to, I got to. The sentences that start with these words are usually conditioning. You get conditioned and you tell yourself, I have to do exercise every day for an hour. You force yourself the other morning, you go. The next morning, force yourself again. Third morning, if it's not a true value for you, the fourth, fifth, you stop going. And I meet people who paid £1,000 for a gym membership, yearly gym membership, and just went 2 times a year or 3 times.
January.
Usually. Or, for example, you tell yourself, I'm going to save money, you get conditioned, and then you spend your money after a month. Because if wealth building, saving is not your value, you just don't do it. So it is easy to get conditioned, but it is not. It is very hard to live life with outside motivation, because this is what human behavior is all about. We only live life aligned with our unique values. So understanding our values actually helps us understand who we are universally. Before I start, our values are different than social idealisms or social expectations. This is very important to remember, because people think values should be aligned with social idealisms or expectations. No. We will go through a set of questions that will help you determine what's truly important for you and understand yourself. Defining your values brings clarity to what matters the most, enabling you to engage in more of what you love and appreciate more of what you do. After understanding your values clearly, you will have the chance to do 2 things. And I'm going to give you those as a homework for you to continue working on these. First, once you understand your values, your value hierarchy, who you are, your uniqueness, then you will have a chance to align all your daily actions and daily tasks with your values to get the best results. You will have the chance to align your daily tasks and daily activities with your values so that you love what you do what you love. And the value process will also give you the chance to look at tasks you are doing throughout the day which are not fully valuable for you, which actually needs delegation, which you haven't yet done. So what we're going to do after this exercise is look at the areas where you need some delegation. Look at the areas where you get the best results, because we get the best results in the things we value the most. With this exercise, you're going to understand that we are most focused, most organized, highly resourceful, reliable, respected, trusted, and talented in the areas we value the most. So when we ask the question, okay, how does a human being reach to the highest potential? When you ask that to a behavioral scientist, he or she would tell you she will reach to the highest potential when she or he only spends her day or his day aligned with her or his first 3-4 values. And as you know, in the entrepreneurship journey, in the founder journey, it is really important that with your daily tasks, you get the best results. So as you know, there is this 80-20 rule. You probably heard of it, but if you haven't heard of it, let me revise it. It's a popular rule in accelerators, incubators, in the entrepreneurial space. Being in like our everyday tasks, if we want to get the best results, we should be 80% of our tasks. Usually 80% of our tasks give us 20% of the results, and only 20% of the tasks give us 80% of the results. This is like what's happening in the masses. But the ideal is, if you can leverage your life and plan it in a way that you are spending 80% of your time and energy to the tasks that will give you 100 results, you are way ahead of your game. So this exercise will help you do that. Will help you see the areas where you are most resourceful, resilient, reliable, organized, focused, so that you can delegate the rest. Because instead of, for example, cleaning the house is not a value for me. So when I spend my time, for example, cleaning the house, imagine I'm spending 1 hour a week cleaning the house. I actually use my energy and my time. I don't use it wisely. Why? Because instead of spending 1 hour of my time to cleaning, if I spent it, for example, aligned with my first 3 values, which are business, wealth building, self-mastery, and did what I'm doing right now, I would earn at least 200 times of what I would give to a cleaning lady. So it's just so stupid spending my 1 hour to that. Instead of that, I could just do my thing, earn 2,000, give 10% of it, 5% of it to the cleaning lady once a week. That's much more cheaper for me. So understanding our values and delegation, if you want to succeed in your business, is very important. So this will give you that. The second thing, once you understand this process, you will be able to, and this is what we've been speaking about, Fraser, with you, you will be able to use this process with your team. How? So, to build a successful business, me being inspired about my business isn't enough. because business is about teamwork. I need myself being at high potential, highly inspired, but I also need my team members to be inspired as well. And each human being is interested in fulfilling their own values. So you will be able to use this process for your team, where you can align their values with the company's mission and vision, so that they can stay inspired, so that they can see your vision at the highest value to themselves, so they can be personally involved with your business. Because you can't reach to your company can't reach to the highest potential if your team members aren't highly personally interested in your company's vision. We want our team members to be personally interested in our vision and in our mission. And the only way that will ever happen is for them to see how our company vision and mission is supporting their personal values. So this process will allow you to do that as well. So first, let's make a list of every social conditioning we have in our minds. Look at your daily tasks and this list is for yourself. I'm not connecting these lists, so it's for you. Make a list of everything you do with these thoughts. Every task, daily activity you do with I should. One of mine was I should clean the house.
Every day.
I ought to speak with my customers. I got to manage finances. And as you write, please pay attention, because you probably will start seeing that these things you are listing are not what you love doing. Now let's start determining your values. Start by step with 13 thought-provoking questions. So while answering those questions, what I would ask you to do is look at your life, look at what you're demonstrating in your life with an objective point of view. So instead of writing down what you think the answer is, think of the question: if we recorded 24 hours of your life, 8 hours in sleep, 16 hours, what are you doing in those 16 hours? Like if we recorded your whole life, sat down and watched the video, what would we see? So this process is not about what you think. It's not about what you think is right, what you think is good. It's all about what are you demonstrating. So we are looking, as a behavioral scientist point of view, we are looking at your behaviors. I'm not interested in what you think. I'm interested in how this individual behaves, because that's going to give us the best answers. Why? Because when I look at how this behaves, I see a pattern. And we're searching for that pattern. And that pattern is aligned with your values, aligned with your essence. So who you are gets reflected into your behaviors. Your essence, your purpose gets reflected into your actions, daily actions. And those are facts. So we are interested in facts. What is really happening right now? So first of all, the first question, how do you fill your personal space? So just listen first. We tend to keep things we value next to ourselves. So this is, when you look at humans, this is my intimate space. Like when you just hold your arms like this is our intimate space. And then outside that, it's social space. Whatever we hold next to us in our intimate space, those are the things we value the most. So look at your life and write down 3 or 4 main things. It can be objects, it can be your children, baby, it can be your cat, dog, pet, it can be your computer, phone. And also think of it this way, like think also, what do you carry with you? Because we tend to carry things we value the most with us. For example, beauty is my younger daughter's value, one of her values, and she carries a lipstick in her pocket even when going to school. And when I think of my childhood, it's insane. My value was sports and exercise, and I was carrying shorts and socks in my pockets or backpack because I was going to do 2 trainings, on top of each other. So she's carrying a lipstick because that's her value. We tend to carry the things we value with us. So what's in your personal space? 3 or 4 things. And then think deeply and ask yourself why. For example, lipstick, why? For example, I would say my phone, and probably my older daughter, my younger daughter would also say phone. But why I have my phone with me is very different than why they have their phone. Like my younger one has her phone because she texts her friends throughout the whole day. So it's friends. Her value is friends, her friends. She uses her phone to connect with friends. I use my phone for business and family. So those are, like, family is one of my 4 values. So that's also important. Write down the 4 things and the 3, 4 areas of your life or what they're representing. So what do they represent? Which area of life do they represent? And if you can ask a couple of why questions. For example, I choose and tend to work from home. I have an office space, the first floor of our house, and I work from home. The reason when I ask myself, why do I work from home? The first answer that pops up in my head is to be at home, to be with family. Then I'm like, why home? When I dive deeper, I tell to myself, because I like being in a private space, that being alone, why? Why private space? Why being alone? Like not being with people, because I could go, work at a co-working place, I could hire an office work there, there are a lot of options. People go work in cafes or, I'm a Soul House member, I could go work there. Why home? Private, alone, why? Then when I ask myself those questions, I get the answer to stay self-centered, self-mastery. So the reason why I work from home is actually because of my self-mastery value, because I want to keep on mastering my mind, I want to keep on deep thinking, and I can do that easier when I'm alone and at home. Because I can ground better, I can ground deeper, and I can center. So it's like when you keep on asking why, but why do you do? But why? And then you get it. For the ones who finished, the second question is, how do you spend your time?
Work related, general.
18 hours of your day, 16 hours of your day.
7 days a week.
Yeah, 7 days a week. So if I did record your life for a couple of months, we sat down, watched the recording, what would I see? Three or four things you spend most of your time. So the most of your time, for example, can be business, and then the second can be another thing. The reason why I'm asking this question is because we only spend time for the things we value the most. That's why, for example, if reading and learning is not your value, you keep on buying books that you don't ever touch. They're just sitting there. Top 3, 4 things you spend your time most on. And which area of your life does that represent? Is it business? Is it health? Is it relationships? Is it family? How do you spend your energy? And this question also, there is another question after this one. For which activities would you for certain and always have energy for? If I called you 1 a.m. at night, wake you up from your sleep, what would make you get out of bed and act on? What are those 3 areas? What are the things you can't wait to do? It can, by the way, be go back to sleep. Then maybe relaxation and spending time in bed is a value. So we tend to spend our energy for the things we value the most. So when you look at your life from an objective view, if you recorded your life and we sat down and watched it, how do you spend your energy throughout the whole day? What do you do throughout the whole day? 3 or 4 things, and which areas of life do they represent? Because we tend to spend our energy aligned with what we value the most. So the next question will be, how do you spend your money? Because either instinctively, impulsively, or intuitively, we spend money to the things we value the most. I have friends that have bought an insane number of cars, old, new, all kinds of, and at the end they had to build a car museum because they had so many and they didn't know what to do with them. Because they just value cars and they just love cars. So we spend our money to the things we value the most. Or maybe you have thousands of necklaces or earrings at home. Or maybe you spend your money in your business. Like business, because it's my first value, I spend my most money on business, millions and millions. Because business is my first value. So we're learning a method to reach our highest potential. It's basically it. Now it's gonna start making more sense. Where do you have the most order and organization in your life? Where are you most organized? because we are most organized on areas we value the most. If it's money and wealth, if that's your value, your bank accounts, your financials are crystal clear, organized, ordered. If it's like my younger daughter, if it's beauty, your beauty products and makeup products are all organized. When I come to your room, it's like there's a whole order and organization over there. If it's business, for example, maybe your business meetings and your calendar is the most organized thing. If it's fashion, if you're like my older daughter, she's studying fashion styling, your clothes, she spends money on clothes, she is most organized in her wardrobe. My younger, fashion is not her value, so she's least organized in her wardrobe. And she was just literally the other day asking me, where did this sweater go? And I'm like, why would I know? Because she's not organized at all. I haven't heard that question from my older daughter ever, because she knows where her sweaters are and her socks are and shoes are, and it's a big thing because she values fashion and clothes. 3, 4 things and what they represent. The other question will be, where are you most reliable, disciplined, and focused? Because we are most reliable, disciplined, and focused on the areas we love the most. You are highly intelligent, productive, focused on the areas you love. So for an entrepreneur, for a founder to reach to, or for an investor or for an individual human being, to reach to their highest potential, their daily tasks and activities need to be aligned with their values. That's how we reach to our highest potential and become unstoppable. With basic human behavior rules. Have you started seeing a pattern here? Yeah? Same things coming up over and over again, same 3 areas, 4 areas. Have you started seeing why understanding our values, transforming or building a business around all of our values is the most important thing? Because as individuals, we are most reliable, disciplined, organized, focused, highly intelligent, highly creative, while doing things that we value the most. So if I build a business around what I value the most, if I build or transform my business around where I am most disciplined and focused, it's a no-brainer that I'll be successful. So the question is, how do I build a business around those 3, 4 values? Because humans tend to spend time, spend money, spend energy in things they value. And that's instinctive, that's impulsive, that's intuitive, and that's basic behavioral sciences. There's no way running away from this. You are going to eventually lead to doing what you love and doing what you value. You will eventually act around your values. So why are we trying to force you to act other ways? Instead, let's think of, okay, how do we build your business aligned with values? Because you're going to spend your time, your energy, doing these you wrote anyway. And as an investor and as an entrepreneur, but first of all as an investor, I need founders 18 hours, 16 hours a day, not 8 hours. Because if you're working 8 hours a day, it's risky. But if you have built a business around your values, you are not going to be working 8 hours a day. Imagine a business ask yourself this question: how can I? So you have realized the pattern. So maybe it's, for example, my values are business, investment, wealth building, self-mastery, and family. So I'm interested in sustainable, meaningful businesses, building, growing, sustainable, meaningful businesses, making wise investments, mastering all areas of life, keeping on mastering all areas of life, and building a legacy for myself and my family. So these are the 4 things. This is the description of NevCap. My business is all aligned with those 4 values, and I don't need any motivation to get myself over here and speak. I love it. I'm fully inspired. I don't need motivation to have meetings with you. I don't need motivation to get on a call and keep on mentoring you and helping you build meaningful businesses, which I am involved. This is like, I'm already inspired. I don't need anyone to tell me to meet with investors or meet with founders. I'm already interested in helping you master your lives, helping you build amazing, meaningful businesses, build my inspiration and build my leadership, and also keep on building my wealth and increasing my wealth. So it's like, if your business is aligned, if you're doing what you love, and if you do what you love what you do, and if you build a business around it, this means you are spending every hour of your day and getting handsomely paid for it. My life is valuable. I'm sure yours as well. Every hour of my life is valuable. So I choose to get handsomely paid for every hour and every minute I spend on this planet, even when I'm on sleep. And the only way I can do that is by creating businesses aligned with my values. So what we are suggesting, or what we are offering in our accelerators to founders, is doing that. Like, you'll go deeper and deeper into this process. But the reason why our founders are highly successful, and the reason why we are lowering risks of investors, is because we are supporting the founders to align their businesses with what they value the most. We are helping them build businesses they don't need vacation from. Because like I said, I don't need 8 hours, 5 days of your week. Not need, it's like, you're not gonna make it with 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Because there are other founders in the world right now, like me, working 24 hours, obsessed, because they're doing something aligned with their values. They have turned every hour of your day into cash. They are getting paid for every hour of their day. If you're not at that level, you can't compete with those. And my job is getting you at that level. Does it make sense now with these questions? Like, you don't have, this is also very important to understand. We have attention deficit problems, focusing issues on the areas we don't value. Like, you now meet me here, and you probably, if you met someone who know me from a, for example, social networking event, you would have totally different ideas about me. Because you meet me here and I'm aligned with my values, I'm extrovert. And you will probably be speaking about me, saying she's extrovert, she's this powerful lady, committed, disciplined, and focused. If you saw me in a networking event in a social environment, you would probably describe me as introvert, shy, closed up, not very friendly, not very outgoing. And usually my husband's friends have those kinds of ideas. Like, he's like, You're like, usually when I meet with my husband friends, their values include politics, and they talk politics. Immediately, my attention deficit disorder kicks in. I don't have any idea what they talked about in the past 2 hours. I'm like, my mind is filled with business ideas and creative ideas, and I don't see them, I don't listen to, I'm like closed up. And those people I meet, they would probably, when they speak about me, they would probably say, she's very shy, she didn't speak the whole night. You've been listening to me for the past 3 hours nonstop. They would be like, she's not very talkative, is she? Yeah, I'm not talkative. And on the areas I don't value. This is the same for you. So imagine you're doing a business disaligned with your values, you're forcing yourself. You don't even want to talk about that freaking topic. How are you going to raise, or how are you going to be successful or attract customers? The other question is, what do you think about? What is your most dominant thoughts? Because we tend to intuitively, impulsively, instinctively think about the things we value the most. There is no running away from this. You all are geniuses on the areas you love and the areas you value the most. You have the most wisdom on the areas you value the most. You know better than anyone on the areas you value the most. You are sitting on tens of millions of dollars on the areas you value the most. Those areas are waiting to turn into cash. Yeah. So it's time for us to start thinking, how can I keep on doing what I value the most and get handsomely paid for it? How can I keep on doing what I love the most and make a business out of it? Out of curiosity, who started seeing the pattern? Who started seeing themselves clearly? What this human being is all about? It's kind of like a machine. It does what it does.
If I could interject there, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
One thing I found fascinating about this morning and these questions is that to be reminded that my mind isn't wrong. Because when you seek other investors or you seek other business individuals or your friends and family, you tell them your plans, you tell them what you're doing, they see you continuously working or what your vision is, and you get a complete different mindset. And you sometimes get lowered and sometimes get praised. But when all this morning, it's resonating and it's refreshing to actually listen to somebody that is like, so I'm not alone. I am actually on the right path. It's like many others here, I'm sure, but it's refreshing. It's more for me. So.
And the best thing is, this is basic human behavior, behavioral health sciences, core. This is the only way humans reach to their highest potential and do amazing things. And like I said, that's why we start with this in our accelerator, because I'm after lowering my risk. I'm not interested in founders that are not doing what they love, because my background is human behavior. I'm a human behavior expert. I know how humans work. I know how humans reach to their highest potential, how you can be highly disciplined and focused and creative. I would like the founders I invest in to be geniuses in what they do, because then I'm really, really lowering my risk. I'm making sure they succeed, because there's no way you're going to stop. If you're doing what you love, Like for me, it has been like that for over 25 years. There's no way you can stop. I'm never ever going to retire. I'm going to do what I love until my last breath because I just love it so much. You know, you just can't stop me from doing what I love. And that's what values are. And you have experienced, like we experience this with our kids, with our children. You try to inject your values on them, telling, don't do that. Like I have a friend whose son was spending way too much time for her because she wasn't. We compare other humans with ourselves. So she came to our courses and she was like, my son is spending all that time on video games and he's on playing video games the whole time and he shouldn't, and he should listen to me and work on his lessons and all of that. And then we started working with her and I helped her see her values and her son's values. And she basically saw that playing video games is his value. And the most interesting thing is they labeled him as having ADHD at school. But the thing is, he just wasn't interested in those lessons that they are teaching. So it's our problem as parents and teachers because we don't align those lessons with their values. If you spoke in his language, aligning with his values, showing, for example, how maths could help or how he could benefit from maths in his video game playing, you know, how learning maths will help her master his video games, playing video games, he would probably be interested in maths, but nobody talks about that. The most interesting thing is he was like this dude of 12. He was highly genius, focused, disciplined. He was like #1 in every video game he played. He was a genius, focused, disciplined when playing video games. But he was labeled ADHD at school because it's just not aligned with his values. So what happened is he's now earning millions playing video games the whole day. He has his own, I mean, I don't know the details because that's not my value, but something around, he has his own YouTube channel, he has his own video that channel, millions of young people following him. He's probably 17, 18 now, earning millions a year. Followers following him. He's just, the only thing he does, he plays video games. Does the thing he's best at. Another example, this is one of my students. She was working for a company, for a networking company. Her 3 values were networking, dancing. She loved salsa dancing, but she wasn't a professional dancer, and she was a bit chubby, and she was over 42 when we met her. So her values are dancing, salsa, networking, socializing with people, traveling. And her business was only aligned with one of her values, which wasn't fully aligned, but she was working at a company which involved networking events. She was unhappy, she was unfulfilled, she was not earning much. So we started thinking, okay, how do we build a business that is aligned with your 3 values? And at the first place, she was like, there is no business where I can travel and dance and socialize. You know, it doesn't make sense. But we let her into the process, think deeper, think deeper. So at the end of the story, now she became an entrepreneur. She did quit her job. Now she's again earning millions. She's doing great. She became an entrepreneur. She built a travel agency targeting a very niche market, people who are not professional dancers, but people who love salsa and tango and stuff like that, which I'm not interested, I don't know the details, and who love traveling. So she organizes groups where she can network and socialize, and she organizes travels. So she travels and she organizes groups, and they go to places like Rio or Argentina, all over the world, joining other groups who like doing salsa. They travel, they go around the city, they do salsa every night, and she's earning a hell of a good amount of money. She just created a business around her 3 values. And she just loves what she's doing. She doesn't want to retire, ever. She just keeps on creating ideas, keeps on working, keeps on. She's just killing it. Do you get the idea? Okay.
Value or passion, though? That sounds like passions to me. Well, that's a passion rather.
Value is a better word, because the word passion means to suffer.
Yes,
To be, yeah. So just a brief note, because we talked about this as well during the break. So this is something important as well, and that's why I have told you the journey is more important than the goal or where you want to reach to. So people usually tend to think too highly about the future, and that's a huge mistake. The future is not different. No matter where you're going to be in the future, it's not different than who you are, what your life experience is right now. Because like I said in the beginning, physics laws, there is never ever more positive than negatives or more negatives than positives. It's impossible. It's just physics. So people usually imagine a future that is more positive than their experience right now, which is a fantasy, because your future will not be ever more positive than today. Why? Physics. Because it's impossible. Positive and negative are equal always, no matter what. They come together. Only form changes, and when you look at basic human experience, for example, you have a private jet. In the future, now you're flying economy with a middle average airline. The basic human experience is the same. You carry yourself, you go from London to New York, for example. It's just another form. And that experience will have its own negative parts. Why? Because in the atomic level, protons and electrons are the same, and they're going to stay the same. There is no way you can ever experience something more positive or more negative than it is. So when you build a goal with a fantasy, which is only positive with no negatives, you tend to be in this stressed energy, which is not a high vibrating energy, attracting opportunities, which is not an elegant energy at all, which is a pushing, pulling, hard work, energy, and you're just trying and trying and trying, and that's what passionate people do. That's why the word passion means to suffer. Because if you're passionate about something, you have to be in a fantasy. You can't be passionate about something you don't fantasize. You have to label something, someone, something in the future as, you have to be in an illusion. You have to be in a delusional mindset to think and experience, or your future would have more positives than negatives to be passionate. If you don't look at the future and think it would have more positives than negatives, and it would be more positive than your today, you can't be passionate about something. You can't even want something if you're not delusional. That's why only masters, 1% of human population all around history, lived life elegantly, without running away, without chasing anything, just centered, just flowing. Because there is nothing to chase, there is nothing to seek, there is nothing to hide. And if you don't have anything to seek, nothing to hide, like Plato says, like Socrates says, you're just elegantly flowing. But you have to have a distorted mindset to seek something, which is distracting.